Hey YouTube, Kier Twig here, bringing you all my Chaos Shark Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for March 2021. I wanted to focus on a deck using number C101 and number 101, Silent Honor Dark and Silent Honor Arc, as the main key monsters to summon out in the deck. It's a really fun deck that focuses on Shark from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's main cards that he used, which were the Shark lineup for the main monster deck. And like I said, focusing on all the different monsters he ran, with the main focus being the ones he used with the Baryon Force being number 101. So really awesome deck. I'm happy with the end results of it. And all the different Shark cards we have, they're slowly reprinting a lot of these cards, along with a good number of them that were printed out in Eternity Code to definitely boost the power of the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the actual Shark monsters, we're running 3 Lantern Shark, one of the 2 new monsters we received back during Eternity Code. If this card is normal or special summon, you can activate this effect. You can special summon 1 level 3, 4, or 5 water monster from your hand in defense position, except for Lantern Shark. Also, you cannot special summon from the X deck for the rest of this turn, except for XYZ monsters. And you can only basically use this effect of Lantern Shark once per turn. If this card is used for the Exceed summon of a water monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or 5 monster, which is great because I did want to run some additional rank 3 monsters in the X deck also that Shark used, including Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark and also our number 47 Nightmare Shark from the manga. Having all these different options is what makes the deck that much more fun when going into the X deck. I know I said the main focus was the rank up into C101 using our main go-to Exceeds, which is number 101, but I still find it fun to be able to go into all of Shark's different variants. So 3 Lantern Shark definitely does come in handy, with the next of the support from Eternity Code being 3 Buzzsaw Shark. You can target 1 water monster you control, special summon this card from your deck in defense position, 1 fish monster with the same level as that monster. So basically with this card, being able to target 1 monster you control while it's on the field and special summon from your deck in defense 1 fish monster with the same level as that monster but with a different name. If you do, it cannot activate its effects this turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of this turn except for Exceeds monsters, and you can only use this effect of Buzzsaw Shark once per turn. If this card is used for the Exceed summon of a water monster, it can be treated as a level 5 or 3 monster as well. Having the same setup as Lantern Shark is very useful there for sure, but just being able to rely on this play for that setup just gives you basically free monsters from the deck to use, not limiting you for any of your plays just for that setup by having just Buzzsaw Shark on the field, and then be able to have just that easy setup along with Lantern Shark makes it all the easier just to set up more and more of your rank 4 Exceeds plays. For some of the other plays, including our graveyard setup, I also run 3 Double Fin Shark. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 3 or 4 water fish monster from your graveyard and special summon that target in defense position, but has its effects negated. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate this, except for water monsters, so not as bit of a lockdown as Buzzsaw Shark and Lantern Shark were, basically stopping Exceeds monsters. Double Fin Shark just stops so you can only summon water monsters, which is still the good majority of our extra decks. So having this option is still very useful for just an easy play if you have these cards set up in your graveyard to go for. And the requirements for number 101 are just 2 level 4 monsters, making it that much more easier. So 3 Double Fin Shark, I would say definitely needed, along with 3 Silent Angler with this one. If you control a water monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You cannot special summon monsters from your hand for the rest of this turn. Just more easy special summon consistency. All I have to do is have a water monster on the field. I am running some of the other powerhouses that Shark used in the anime, including number 32 Shark Drake. So having this card just makes it that much easier to get your 3 level 4 monsters onto the field to overlay into that card. For some of the other additional plays, we are running a good amount of different level 4 monsters, and I know that Lantern Shark and Buzzsaw Shark can adjust their levels, but I also run 3 Saber Shark. It cannot be used as synchro material up to twice per turn. You can target 1 fish type monster on your field, then activate one of these effects. You can increase its level by 1 or reduce it by 1, and you cannot special summon any other monsters during this turn except for water monsters. So you can even reduce Saber Shark to a level 3, which then will match up with some of your other monsters, or even if you have the Silent Angler on the field, let's say you open up Saber Shark and then special summon out Silent Angler, you have the option to reduce both of their levels and then go into your Exceeds monster, depending on if you want to raise the levels or reduce the levels. And you can do it up to twice per turn, which is good because it fits then for the play of being able to then have 2 monsters on the field be the same level. For some additional Exceeds plays, I also run 3 XYZ Remora. You can special summon this card from your hand by detaching 2 Xyz materials from monsters you control. And when you do, you can target 2 level 4 fish-type monsters in your graveyard and special summon those targets in face-up defense position. Their effects are negated, and they cannot activate or change their battle position, and they cannot be used for Xyz materials except for the Xyz summon of an Xyz summon of a water monster. So as those materials that you use them, it's just more of the easy setup to get more and more monsters on the field. And without being limited because of Master Rule 5 for the X deck, you can go into an Xyz monster in your main monster zone or the extra monster zone and still have the option to summon out an Xyz monster into your main monster zone, having those additional Xyz monsters on the field without having to rely on link monsters. So that's why this card is so much better now, not having to be restricted from our X deck with those plays. For some of the lower numbers for the fish monsters, I also run 2 Beautiful Princess. When this card is no more special summon, you can banish this card to special summon 1 level 4 lower fish type monster from your deck, except for Beautiful Princess, and you can only use this effect of Beautiful Princess once per turn. So with this summon, it's just an easy access to any of the other cards we run in the deck. Since they are all fish, you have access to any of these. I considered running this card at 3. If I were to do so, I'll show you what card I would reduce in number for that play, but still great because it is a 1-for-1 target. So if you were to go into this card, you at least have the option to then summon it out with that spell and then just use its effect again by banishing it to have access to any of the other fish we run. For some additional special summon, I also run 2 Aqua Spirit. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 1 water monster from your graveyard, which we, once again, have plenty of. And with this card, during your opponent's standby phase, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change that target's battle position. If you do, it cannot change its battle position for the rest of this turn. But we're mostly using this just as an easy resource to get on the field. We're not really limited to too many of our cards that we run in the deck, especially Shark Drake and also just number 101 Arc being just generic monsters to summon it out. So having this Aqua monster on the field is that much better, but the fact that it is a water monster is just an added benefit, because if we do go into any of our link monsters, we have this as an easy option to summon out by just banishing one of our resources in the graveyard. And then to finish off the monsters, just the hand trap of choice is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I'm still making this with a ban list, right around the corner. So if this card, I don't think anything will happen to this card, honestly, on the list. But I'm just trying to be wary for, making videos and knowing that the list is right around the corner, or it's already out by the time this video is out. You could just swap this for any other hand trap, Effect Veiler, you name it, any other one of choice for the setup in the deck. Player preference at that point, but I just like it because it shuts down your opponent. And then still with the resources you can have in your hand, plenty of options to go into the Xyz monsters, because you just need 2 fish level 4 monsters to make your main play of the deck, which is your Silent Honor Arc. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 2 Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. Now this would be the option for what I would take out for the additional Beautiful Princess, because it is a once per duel ability for the 2nd rank up. But having the option for this card, we do run 1 other card that can rank up in the deck, which we'll get to when we go over the traps. But this is just good for the draw option. Having 2 of it in the deck makes up for the fact that you have to draw this card to activate it. And then at the start of your main phase of that same turn, you can special summon from your X deck or graveyard 1 monster that has a number between 101 and 107, except for number C monsters. Then Xyz monster from your extra deck with a number C monster, the same name of that first name used by using it as Xyz material. So with this, you can go from your 101 to your C101 and then have this boss monster on the field ready to go. But once again, you have to draw this card. That's why I'm mostly running the 2 for that option to just hopefully draw into it more. But we have the other trap option, which I'll get to when we go over the traps. For some of the other spells in the deck, I also run 2 Moray of Greed. You shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand to the deck, then draw 3 cards. So this one definitely comes in handy because we do run a good majority of water monsters. But if we open up some of the monsters with the same name, we do want to open up, different shark monsters to use all together. So having the draw power of Moray of Greed definitely does come in handy, because then it just gives us shuffle options to draw into some more consistent, important cards also. And just for this, watch out also because you have to draw the 7th one during your main phase. That's the only risk you take with this card. But once again, it's just that risk you want to go for to hopefully open up some more important cards. I also run 3 Fury of Karyushin. You add 1 Torrential Tribute from your deck to your hand. If a water monster you control be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Fury of Karyushin once per turn. So the search power for our Torrential Tribute is definitely the most important part of this deck, just being able to search out a free trap, but then being able to protect our water water monsters that will be the majority of what we summon out into the field with this card from the graveyard. It's just an added benefit of setting it up in the graveyard after using the search power for sure. For some of the one-ofs for these spells, I run 1 Torpedo Takedown. I definitely enjoyed playing this card when I was testing it. You target 1 Water Xyz monster you control, detach 1 material from it, and inflict 400 damage to your opponent for each card in your hand. If you do, that monster gains attack equal to the damage inflicted until the end of this turn. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard and 1 Water Xyz monster from your graveyard to draw 2 cards. You can only use 1 Torpedo Takedown effect per turn, and only once that turn. So you have the power boost for the monster, and if your opponent happens to destroy that monster next turn, when your turn comes back around, you can banish this in the Xyz monster to hopefully draw into the potential cards you can use to then go into another Xyz monster. I considered bumping this card up to do if you wanted to keep the Beautiful Princess to 2 in the deck. You can always consider taking out 1 of the 7th ones for another copy of Torpedo Takedown, but with all the testing I've done, I definitely do like it as just a one-of. For some of the other one-ofs, I run 1 Foolish Burial. This is to help set up just shark monsters in the graveyard to special summon back with double Fin Shark. I also run 1 1-for-1 for the Beautiful Princess and the 1 Monster Reborn, just good resources if you're 1 monster short, depending on the play you want to go for any of them in the graveyard. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. The other rank up I spoke of is XYZ Revive Splash. You target 1 rank 4 or lower Xyz monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Its attribute becomes water, and you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 water Xyz monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck 1 water Xyz monster that is 1 rank higher than that monster you control by using it as material. This is treated as an Xyz summon, and transfer the materials onto the summon monster. You can only use 1 XYZ Revive Splash effect per turn, and only once that turn. So with it, you have just more and more options for your special summon from the graveyard with this card, going into a boost of other different water monsters you may run. So I have the 2 of them in here for that option, since it does say 1 rank higher for that play. Very, very useful for that setup, and then just being able to rely on this card and basically psych out your opponent with the Torrential Tribute target, because they'll know you'll search it from your deck to your hand onto the field. If they hit this, you can potentially just summon back another Xyz monster onto the field. And then to finish off the traps, just the 2 Torrential Tribute. I'm only running the 2. You have the option for your opponent to, 1, potentially destroy this card as well if you set it on the field, being one of the additional ones. And if they do, they just set it up in your graveyard for you to use for protecting your water monsters from being destroyed by card effects, while also being able to use Torrential Tribute to destroy your opponent's monsters along with it, while also being able to then protect your own monsters by banishing Fury of Creation against your own destruction with Torrential Tributes. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. For Shark's main go-to monsters, his boss monster is number 101, Silent Honor Arc. You need 2 level 4 monsters to make it. You can detach 2 materials from this card to target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls in face-up attack position. Attach it to this card as material. You can only use this effect of number 101 once per turn. If this face-up card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 1 Xyz material from it instead. So just being able to take one of your opponent's special summon monsters gives you the resource to then protect this card from being destroyed by card effects, while also just getting rid of a pesky resource they may have on the field. So with that, you have the protection option available to you for Silent Honor Arc to also then just be protected by Torrential Tribute by not having to use Fury of Creation for it, but also just the boss monster you need to go into your rank up monster, which is number C101, Silent Honor Dark. Once per turn, you can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, attach to it this card as normal. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, while it has Xyz material, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, then gain life points equal to the original attack of this card. And number 101, Silent Honor Arc, must be in your graveyard to activate and resolve this effect. If you special summon this turn, it cannot attack for the rest of this turn, but this card can just special summon itself again and again, which is very, very scary for that setup. There were some other shark options that I left out of the deck. If you wanted to just run the 1 of this card, you can add in some additional rank 5 Xyz options for those shark monsters. I know there's some different number monsters I left out. That could be for that spot, and then just run the 2 101s for the additional monster lineup. For some of the other shark support, I also run the 1 Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark. I could not run make a shark deck without involving this card. It was one of his first Xyz monsters. Just being able to detach 1 from this card to inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each of your banished monsters. So this is just good for the initial setup, even just with Beautiful Princess, if you're going up against your opponent and you just have to go for that little bit of burn damage. That's why I like running this. If you didn't want to run Arrow Shark, you can always put in Leviathan Dragon number 17 as another option. For some of the other ones, I run one number 32 Shark Drake and one number C32 Shark Drake Vice as just additional options, being able just to go into the rank up of Shark Drake with Shark Drake Vice that easily, and then having the 3 monsters to make this card as well. Also one number 37 Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark, a good way just to get rid of your opponent's monsters by banishing them, just needing 2 level 4 water monsters to make this one. Also one Abyss Dweller, one C73 Abyss Splash, and one number 19 Freezadon. These are additional rank up options that you can use with your XYZ Revive Splash. If you already made C101 with your rank up Magic the 7th one and have that set up, the additional rank up with your trap can be gone into these materials, giving you additional materials to use with Honor Arc, or even just some power plays with Abyss Splash. And then lastly, the one Nightmare Shark for the final rank 3. And for the Link monsters, since we're limited with a good number of different cards in the deck, for Link plays, I run the one Miss Starboy, the one Marine Cess Coral Anemone, and the one Area the Water Charmer Gentle. These monsters are definitely our main focus in this deck with some of the limitations we have with the other monsters, but still great to have these as available options if we need to go into them. And then as for some of the additional plays, like I said before, just focusing on Buzzsaw Shark as your main go-to card. You can target a water monster you control, including this card, and basically special summon from your deck in defense position one fish monster with the same level as that monster, but with a different name. If you do, it cannot activate its effects this turn, but it still gives you the option just to summon out a monster and have your 2 level 4s to then go into your main play, which is your Silent Honor Arc. And then as long as you have, let's say, your trap setup, which is the XYZ Revive Splash, having that special summon option, you'll rely on the Rank Up Magic 7-1 to then go into your power play, which is the option of your Silent Honor Dark. And once you have this set up, you can even just rely on taking your opponent's special summon monster, which then taking their resource, and then going into this rank up, which will then give you the additional protection against this card, and then just having Honor Arc in your graveyard to keep reviving this card on the field. If you wanted to go for some additional options, being able to use the same play, but having the additional monsters in your hand to special summon out, like your Silent Angler, will give you the 3 monsters needed to go into your number 32 Shark Drake, and then ranking up there into Shark Drake Vice for that additional power option. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Like I said, still waiting on the ban list, but for all I know, it might have been revealed by the time this video comes out. But I'm still wanting to make decks, especially ones that people are requesting, and this was definitely one that was requested a lot. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira, Twig out.